Okay, so now I am done with the deboxing of the arms. I'll proceed with the deblocking of the body. So again, I'll just go to File. To start, I'll just go to File, Save Scene As, paste my location, and I will now save this as the block body and head. And then I'll save it. Okay, so now I can hide, or before I do hide, I'll just select this W, move it there, then I'll just rename it to arm, and then I'll hold shift and drag, and then here I'll type in 0 on the x-axis, and then I will rename it here the block body and head, or underscore head there. So I'll save my work. I'll hide the rest, Control H. So here, pressing F, focus on selected, switching to a two pane view. Okay, two pane layout view. And then I'll switch to my polygon selection, pressing Q, double click this, and then I'll double click the next, delete that half, and then I will just start once more selecting the polygons that I will not be needing. So I'll go to my lasso selection, select this, switch to the polygon selection, and then select this, Control H, and then here I'll select and do Control H. Yeah, there. Now I have that done. That was the shoulder, just checking it. And then I will now start by turning on the multi-cut tool. I'm on object, and I'll turn on the multi-cut tool. I'll hold Control so I can again create a loop here. Let's say here 30%, and then the next one here is 50%. So now I have that, pressing Q, and then this. Okay, so the next is I will now go to polygon or vertex selection, polygon selection, and I will select the polygons that I will not need for now. So that will be the head, Control H, and then the back of the body there. I'll hide those polygons or sets of polygons. And then I'll start with the front of the body here. So vertex selection, I'll select and then start tracing over, but being mindful of what I am tracing. So let's say we're starting off with the chest here. Now this one there, it creates the roundness of the body because this is the side of the body. So this one goes a bit inward. Same as this, it goes inward as such. This is going to be the side. Okay, so next I'll just be tracing this onto this. Also, I am maintaining the straight lines, if possible the horizontal lines be kept there. And then here for the chest, I'll just go here. We can trace it here. So let's say the chest is going to be as such, and this is for the shoulder there. Okay, so let's say that for now, and let me place this here, down here, add some roundness to the pelvic area. There. Saving work. Pagkatapos nun, I'll be looking here. So leveling up with the color here. Oops. Sorry. There. Spacing it a bit. There. So let's say that's how this should be. Okay, so that, and now let's go to the panels, orthographic and side view. So there it is. Now space bar, panels, orthographic front, making it see-through for now. Okay, so as you can see here, this should serve as cleavage, so it is going to recede down, and then this one is going to be at the peak or at the highest point maybe of the chest. There, that's a little adjustment. And then to be followed by this there, so following that line there. Oops, and a little depth here. And then this is for the pits. Let's say that's fine. This is to enter it here outside. And then this is to go down, just visually estimating, because I do not have that complete view of the arm. Here, let's round that up a bit further. Next, on the abdominal area, here, so this is fine, sticking under there, and then this a bit forward, so also this there, and also this. Okay, now on to here on the pelvic area. So I need to select these and drag it back a little for the roundness, and then here, there, and then here. So there it is, so making it go protruding forward. Okay, so saving the work. So I'll test A3 for smooth view. So far it is following the contour. So I think I need to exaggerate this a bit. I can drag that forward and further, see, to further increase the chest area. Using one there. Okay, and then saving work. Shift H, so I have that portion done. Panels, perspective, there, and then solid view, there. Okay, if I press number 3, so the body starts to appear prominently. Press 1, saving work, and then now let's go for the back. So once more, going for polygon selection at the front, orthographic front. So here, just selecting this one, Control H, and then for the arms, lasso, Control H. Oops, let's not select any of the body yet. Control H, there, and then let's go to the side, panels, orthographic side. So we can now select the head, Control H to hide that, and then let's select the frontal parts of polygons or faces, Control H. There it is, saving work. And then I'll go to panels, orthographic, and back. So now we have this. Okay, so from here I'll go to vertex selection and I'll start tracing this accordingly as per the reference I have there. So now the back also here starts to curve accordingly. So let's say I will place that there, and this here and a bit here. Oops, let's place it that way. And then here select, and then here. So I'll just drag it down, and I'll drag it down here, and then here. And then here. So let me just trace this back here for a reason. Yeah, got lost here. Yen. I'll prefer that to be there, and then just have this bitly roughly there. Okay, I can add polygons later on. For now, let's have that there, and then let's slightly make this a bit rounder there. Okay, there. Okay, here that it doesn't get that much sharp or stretched there. Okay, now I'll go down at the buttocks. So let's bitly adjust this, because it should also go rounded, going inwards down there. Okay, so next is, oops, sorry. The next is going to be panels. Oops, let's start space bar there. Panels, orthographic, and then side view. Let's make the side view see-through mode also. And then let's just, this is going to be estimations mostly, because we do not have a clear side view here. So let's say this is also going to serve as your spinal canal, or the character's spinal canal. So that would mean I will be allowed to drag this a bit forward. There. There. Right? And then this on the buttocks area. So there we go. There's the hips, and then here are the buttocks area. There. So the roundness of the buttocks can be dragged further outward here. Oops. And then this one is going to supposedly go inwards. Now let's select this and drag a bit more. Okay. And then let's check tree. Okay, smoothness, panels, orthographic, sorry, panels, perspective. So there, the back is starting to appear such. So the spinal canal, and then we need to bring out this part, It's going to be the scapular or the shoulder blade, which most of the time is prominent. Let's see here. Okay, there. And then, so for the roundness of the neck, let's go to panels, orthographic and side view. There it is. Let's slide it down. Let's keep it sliding a bit, pressing 1. Okay, so now I need to align this at 2. And this one there, so that it rounds up. Okay, so let's bring out the rest. Pressing 1, Shift H there, so that's how it looks so far. Pressing 3, okay. Okay, so let's say the buttocks needs a bit more, some pulling here onto this area to be defined further there. That's going to be for that. And then this one, Q, W, drag there. Yeah. And then I'll just select one last there. A bit here, a bit. Pressing save 1. Okay, so that's for the body. So let's go for the head this time. So again, polygon selection, lasso. Let's select all of the head polygons, Shift Control I, Control H to hide the rest. And then let's do this head model. Okay, so we have added some multi-cuts at the front of the body. That's 2 cuts, so that means it also added onto the face as such. So let's go to the front view. I'll hide first the back polygons, and then I'll go to the front view. Control H, panels, orthographic, front there. So now panels, orthographic, and side, we can now start tracing at least some proper details here. So let's say this W for move. This is the vertex of the neck. Let's say that one, so it's supposed to be at least outside. Okay, so let's have these following the neck contour as per the front view there. Okay, next is here. So let's carefully round this up a bit, such there. I'll just drag it down a bit there, so that's a roundness, very slight subtle roundness there. Okay, and then on the neck part here, let me just move it back a little bit there, and then I'll just, here at the front it's appearing fine and well spread. Yeah, saving the work. Now I'll just go here at the front of the head here. Is this okay with this? So now we can start having polygons receding for the roundness of the head. So let's say that, same case here. So that's the eye. So as you can see here, this is the brow line. So now I can drag this to the brow area and I can push it back accordingly. This one also I can drag here so that the nose can be well defined there, and then this I can further push back down. The face is a detail, so I will not yet add any other or insert additional polygons, but what is important is the contours carefully being added and also being rounded or getting rounder. And here the top can drag and slowly arc it as per the reference because of those additional polygons or vertices I have now. There. Let's have that there a bit. There. Okay, so we have that. We have this. Okay. Though I can also push this. Let's find these vertices. Oh, there they are. So I'll select this and I'll push it back the area of the chin. Select this so it follows accordingly. Finally this, I think this, oops, sorry, this one is going forward. Oh, this one is a bit back there. So let's say that is fine for the face. There. Next, switching, Shift H, polygon selection, selecting all of it, lasso, F, just making sure. Shift Control I, Control H, saving work. And now this time let's work on the back of the head. So this one, the back polygons, Control H, there. So panels, orthographic back view, there. So that's the concern for the back of the head. So here I can switch to vertex selection, there, W for move, carefully reform where things can come out. For example, in the case of this, so this is where the ear could be located or located. There, oops, that's the cranial part. And then here, let's further have some roundness. There, oops, here, there's the arc. Okay. And then, so let's say, where is this, right? So that's the polygon. So this, for example, where is this polygon? There, but where is this? You have to ask this. Where is it going? So is it going here? So if it is going there and point there, if I select it again, looking here, so that means this is supposed to go inwards as per this portion. So it goes inwards there. Okay, so I'll select this now carefully so that it rounds up. Okay, so next is this. So where is this? So it's supposed to follow here. So I'll just have it follow the such. And then I'll select this to follow. And then I'll select this to follow. So there. And then I can select this to follow along. Okay. So now the roundness is starting. But you see this dent here, so where is that also? That's too deep. We can drag it a little. Okay, where is this? This is for the jaw. Okay, so this, the one that's too deep, that is for the neck area and jawline. Okay, there. So next is this. So I have arcing. So same here. I want it arcing the head a bit there. So now going over here and here and there. So carefully spacing them out, slightly moving them aside, away from each other, and then from here I will be, let's try doing an edge slide, so that I'll just slide this time. Oops, here. So let me just slide it along here this time. There, oops, sorry. There, sliding along, and here sliding along. Okay, so that the roundness may be achieved. Now I'll select this. So here, let me slide that. Here, sliding along that. Okay, so that's for that. And then Q. So let's press Shift H. Okay, so let's press 3 to check. Okay, so it's all coming up fine. Shaping out okay. F to focus on selected, and then the next thing is, let's go to perspective for the preview, solid view this time. Okay, pressing 1, saving work. Okay, so let's check the head and the body. 3. Head and the body is coming out real fine also. So now I will just go to the usual. So this would mean I will go for saving work. This means I will go for edit, duplicate, special, apply, close, select, combine, control, and then click. Be mindful of your vertex count. Edit mesh, merge, so vertex count gets less. Q there. Object selection, press 3. So there. So far, that's how it should look like. But let's say I'm missing, or the cleavage is vanishing from this part. Let's go to number 2, and I can slightly drag this inwards as such. See? So that it's a bit too much. So let's just have that as a shadow. Press 1, saving work. There. Okay. So now that we have this, this is now the head and body deblock. So next is the details, such as the hands and the foot, toes, no? I mean toes and fingers. See you on that lesson.